A race to unlock the secrets to the next puzzle piece. The Breen are back on force. And the return of a classic Discovery character. All of this coming up. Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, today we're talking about the promotional photos for episode 7 of season 5 Star Trek Discovery, which is entitled Erigah. In this episode it looks like Mole and Lark have been captured by the Federation and they're being held for interrogation, and it seems like the Breen aren't too pleased with this. They probably want Mole and Lark back, and they're going to go to some probably extreme levels to reacquire them. On top of this, the Discovery crew has to unlock the next puzzle piece to the Progenitor's puzzle, which seems like it's a bit of an engineering situation, because we've got Reno and Tilly and Adira all working on unlocking the next secret to the puzzle. We've got a whole bunch of promo photos to check out today, which give us a little bit more insight into the episode. We'll take a look at them and see if we can work out what's going on in our next episode of Discovery. So first off, let's have a read through the synopsis of this episode and see what that's all about, which reads as follows. With Mole and Lark finally in custody, the Federation is pulled into a diplomatic and ethical firestorm when the Breen arrive and demand they be handed over. Meanwhile, a frustrated Book looks for ways to help as Tilly, Adira, and Reno work to decipher the latest clue. So let's check out these photos and see what they're all about. In this first photo, we see Tilly and Adira at the science station on the bridge. They're both looking pretty happy and having a bit of a laugh. This almost to me looks like it's a behind the scenes shot of the actors in between takes and not part of the episode. In this shot, we see Tilly talking to Stamets in the middle of a corridor. Tilly's carrying a bag of what I'm guessing is some kind of engineering tools or science tools. Here's Reno. She's kneeling on the floor of the corridor of Discovery. Got a little carry bag there with a whole bunch of different little engineering paraphernalia in it. And it looks like they're pulling up the deck to get access to different panels and so forth. Here we see Reno and Adira and Tilly looking up towards the ceiling at something that is obviously troubling them somewhat. The expressions on their faces seems like they're worried about whatever they're seeing on the ceiling of the Discovery there. And in a little behind the scenes mistake, I suppose you might say, we can see one of the actors' marks on the floor there in a little T-cross there where obviously Adira's meant to stand. Here's another camera angle of essentially exactly the same scene. Actors are in pretty much the same pose as the last shot, all looking up towards the ceiling. Geez, the bloody photographer loves this shot, doesn't he? There's about 20 angles of the same scene. We get the idea. Another shot here of Adira, Reno and Tilly standing in the doorway looking somewhat perplexed. Bunch of tools in their hands yet again. This is kind of a weird shot because we're right in the middle of the corridor of Discovery, yet Reno appears to be working on something that looks like a moonshine still, or she's cooking up a bit of bourbon whiskey or something in her spare time in engineering. It's quite bizarre. We haven't kind of seen anything quite like what she's doing here. Just we don't tend to see this sort of machinery just in the middle of a hallway or a corridor. It's quite bizarre. Here's a shot of Book looking out the window there. He's got his necklace on containing the remains of Quajan or whatever it is he's wearing there. And he seems to be having a frustrated time this episode being frozen out of the interrogation of Mole and Lark. Here's a shot of Commander Nan. She obviously used to be the security chief on board the USS Discovery, and now she's working for Starfleet Security. And it seems like that she is the lead on the interrogation of Mole and Lark in this episode. So it'd be interesting to see what her involvement covers. Here's Book and Nan in a corridor. Nan has her phaser drawn. I'm guessing this probably means that at some point during the episode, Mole and Lark are going to escape and they're going to have to be hunted down. The lighting on the walls and floor indicating the ship is at red alert. Here's a shot of Eve Harlow, obviously as the character of Mole. I wonder if we're going to be finding out a bit more of the backstory with her and her father and the relationship that he had with Book. Here's a shot of Burnham and Culber. This is another one of those shots that looks like just the actors hanging out in between takes. We see Culber here in quite a catching new chief medical officer's jacket here. Looks like it's made out of leather. Very stylish, very spiffy new coat there, Culber. I did a video the other day which shows the sneak peek scene for this episode, showing the return of Commander Nan, as well as a look at a couple of shots from previous Discovery trailers, which show some pretty interesting battle sequences that we are going to be in for, which will be the Discovery versus the Breen fleet. If you want to check out that video and you haven't seen it yet, click up here and that'll take you to that. One thing that surprises me a little bit in this episode is the fact that previous puzzle piece clues have had something to do with the race that perhaps originally planted the clue. So, for example, last week's clue was planted by Denobulin, which linked back to that Denobulin weather station that had been planted on that planet. Well, we know based on the list that Dr. Kovich made, we saw Dr. Kovich making his little list of all the different scientists that were involved in hiding the puzzle pieces on his yellow legal pad, that our next puzzle piece is coming from a Betazoid. So I would have imagined the next clue to be somehow wrapped up in a very sort of empathic, emotional, even spiritual packaging, I suppose. But we've got Tilly and we've got Adira and we've got Reno working on what seems like a very technical, scientific or engineering-based problem. And when you think kind of science and engineering and technical stuff, you don't automatically think of Betazoids. So this clue in this puzzle piece does seem to be a little bit more out of left field. It's certainly going to be interesting to see Commander Nhan back again. I wonder if they'll give Commander Nhan a first name before we get to the end of the series, because she's always been Commander Nhan. I don't believe they've ever given her a first name in any previous episodes or anything. So I wonder whether that will happen before the episode is out. We'll soon see. And also be interesting to see the dynamics between her and Book. Obviously, going by the sneak peek scene, there's a bit of bad blood between these two. She's not overly happy about Book's involvement, and maybe she thinks he's been given a little bit of a too lighter slap on the wrist for his involvement with Taka and the isolytic weapon and everything last season. Because it definitely seems like Book is a little bit itchy to be useful, to be involved somehow. And it seems like maybe he's not being given the access and everything that he so desires. But we shall soon see. Guys, leave a thought in the comment section and don't forget to like this video. Let me know, are you interested in episode 7, Erigah? This could be potentially a good episode, I think. We've got a bit more Breen stuff going on, a bit more puzzle solving stuff going on. I didn't necessarily think the last episode was the one of the better ones this season, so hopefully episode 7 will be a bit of a return to a stronger story. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, don't be shy to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. And be sure to check out my merch in the merch store. Plenty of really cool t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, stickers, you name it, tons of stuff there. Really cool designs. Be sure to check that out. Pick yourself up a bargain and it helps support the channel as well. I'll be back on Thursday for my review for episode 7, Erigah of Star Trek Discovery. I'll see you guys then.